Inspector Gadget. Just kidding. Welcome to Kansas Sports HQ, episode 44 with Kansas Curve owner Jacob Baca. Good morning, guys. Jacob, it's a pleasure to have you in studio with us. How's everybody's morning going?
Pretty good.
Sheldon looking like Inspector Gadget. That's why I started it off like that.
Just waiting for our guests to say something. Just waiting.
Yeah, talk, man. It's okay to interject here. Sean and I struggle with that, but we're going to ask Jacob a bunch of questions about the Kansas Curve and the KCLB and the Summer Ball Showdown, all kinds of stuff today. But I guess nobody else is doing good this morning.
Got my workout in.
You got a lot
one of us.
You got you got lots of tech over there going on. Sheldon working on 3 screens, trying to go live with everything as we gain more followers and stuff like that. What we got tonight, big game for the Rams and Seahawks. Influences my 49ers in the playoffs, those kind of things. And then this weekend, college football playoffs start. Jacob, you said you're going to the game?
I am. Miami at Texas A&M at Kyle Field.
Oh, my goodness.
The 11th man, as they say.
Yep.
Yeah,
Or 12th man. Dang it.
12th man.
You going to go crazy?
He's going to be on the field?
He's going to be on the field.
I'm going to be close enough to step
Are
on
you?
the field.
Where are you sitting?
Section 116, so it's right behind one of the goalposts, row 1.
Wow.
Yeah, so it'll be...
We're going
Yeah.
streaking down to the 50-yard line.
Hopefully catch a
Kansas
Yeah.
Curve
Airmail
owner
throwaway.
arrested.
Or-
for-
a missed field goal, yeah. I've been to that place when it's been rocking, so I'm excited to see what a playoff atmosphere is going to look like.
the electric.
And then who do you play if you win?
Ohio State.
Yes, sir.
My wife already told me she's leaving the house that day if that happens.
Oh,
We'll see
oh.
what happens there.
Well, I am an Ohio State fan, so good luck to you this weekend.
Thank you.
Does Ohio
I thought you were a
Bye?
Michigan
Yes.
Oh, okay.
fan.
Get out of here, dude. We don't even say that word here.
He does like Michigan.
The M
A little
word
I
is
bit.
do
bad.
not like Michigan.
I've learned that the M word is bad.
The letter is just the bad.
Mhm.
Michigan.
It's just the letter. It's not.
They definitely have they got a good situation going on up
Yeah,
there.
fantastic situation in Ann Arbor.
No, not really.
No?
No, not
You don't think
not
so?
not really a good situation at all. And I grew up with Schroenmore.
Life's all about
So-
perspective.
Derby legend right there.
So it's just it's not a good situation. And prayers for his family. But I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I'd rather
What we do on pods. We talk about
I
things.
don't want to talk about
Go Bucks.
it. You guys can talk about it, but I will stay out of it.
I don't have anything to
Yeah.
talk about because I ain't really followed it.
There we go. So anyways,
It's up to me.
It's up to you, Sean. Yeah, the Iowa guy doing all the Iowa things. So, Jacob, talk to us about the Kansas Curve, where it started. Give us a little origin story.
So we started back in the winter 2014. 2015 was our first summer with the team, with the 18U team. Me and a guy named Evan Smith. He does the Texas Army near SBS. We started coaching with another local organization. Got a team super late, so kind of backs against the wall in terms of finding players at that point, because most of every good player had a team in
Sure.
December of that year. So we just kind of pieced together what we could find. We ended up with a lot of really small town Kansas kids, and branched out. Had a few area guys that didn't have a team, guys that wanted to play college baseball. But yeah, started that summer, had a really good summer, and decided after that summer we wanted to do our own thing, so branched out and
Said, let's go.
let's go. Yeah.
And so 2014 leading into, 2026, you guys have been around for a little while.
Oh yeah.
Organization is grown. So talk a little bit about that and, what makes the Curve stand out for any baseball in itself, but also your college league.
For sure. So I was just talking to Evan about this last night. It actually kind of grew before I was ready for it to grow, because I think it was the fall of 22. We had a tryout. I needed maybe 3 or 4 spots for my team. Had most of the team set, and then we had 60 kids show up to tryouts. It's like, well, man, if I cut 55 kids, then you know, I don't know if they'll come back if we cut that many kids.
It'd
And
be a tough go on the first
Yeah.
tryout.
Yeah, for sure.
so it's like, and we had tryouts before that, but we had never had, typically for the one team, we'd have 25, 30 kids at a tryout, which again, for one team looking to fill, maybe 4 or 5 spots was a good turnout for us. We weren't looking for big numbers, but I don't know, just the amount of talent that showed up, I think, kind of sat down and I was like, I think it's time to expand. And then that, 60 turned into 120, and then that 120 turned into 140. And I think we were close to 170 last year. So, it's been fun though. It's, allowed us to take some really good players, meet some really good families, and just, grow the thing. And I don't think I ever intended it to be that way. It had always just been the one team, and it was always just going to be kind of a hobby. And then, here we are all these years later when it's a different beast, and I wouldn't have it any other way though. It's turned out.
Sometimes the calling comes at the weirdest of times, and then the surprise.
Absolutely.
What year was that you guys started it?
Our first summer was 2015.
2015.
So it was the off
yeah.
season of December, January of 2014,
Yeah,
15.
that all checks out.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's funny when I think back of like KCLB, the origin story of that and kind of where that started.
Mhm.
Very similar timelines, because 2015 was when we were starting Parisi.
Yep.
KCLB hadn't rebranded just yet, but it was about to. So like that was all those things were kind of happening at the same
Sure.
time. We just didn't know they were all happening at the same time, which makes it kind of
Right.
cool. But
The college team was our first expansion before we, went to other high school teams, because we obviously started that in 2019. And
yeah,
So how did you two meet? You and Sheldon.
shoot, I don't even know. I think when because I had talked with Evan about wanting to do a college team, since we had enough alumni that had asked about it. It's like, hey, like I think I want to get involved in a college league. And
I'm trying to remember if there was like one.
I think I just reached out to you like on social media and said, hey, I'm looking to join a league, because I don't think I knew you before I joined the league.
I can't remember if we met before baseball stuff or not. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
It's been a while.
It has been. It's been a long time.
Because I remember I came and sat in on whatever league meeting you guys had right before the 2018 season. I came in and sat on that very last league meeting you guys had right before, because you were just like, hey, come check it out and see
Yeah.
what it's about. But yeah,
Where was that at?
that was at your old building,
The old, not
The
no,
old
Ralph
old?
Tyler or old one.
the one next to Side Pockets.
Okay,
that
Then,
building.
yeah, it would have been over there.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, even before my time. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Came in and sat on that meeting.
Yeah.
It was like May of that year, and I
Yeah, I
think
don't
at
know.
that point you had announced we were.
I've had
coming.
so many baseball meetings. It's hard to keep them all in
Yeah.
order.
No, that was a good one. I honestly don't remember.
Me neither.
I'm sure our paths had crossed at some point, and because I think I knew.
I feel like I've known you for forever. If that counts for anything. I thought immediately back to like high school. I was like, did I know you in high school? But then I started thinking, I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, they might have, our paths, I'm sure, crossed on baseball fields before we even knew it. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense though, timeline wise, because you guys have been in the league since 2018.
19 was the first summer.
2019 was the first summer. Yeah.
Yep.
God, that feels like right. That's
Fun
wild.
fact: our very first ever game, the KCLB, we almost got no hit. We didn't get a hit until like the 8th inning of that game.
Who'd you play?
The McPherson Pipeliners.
Oh, even better.
Oh,
McPherson Pipeliners.
throwback. They've
yeah.
been dissolved for a little while.
Mhm.
now.
Isn't McPherson getting a new team this year?
They have like a league that's going to be playing there. The
McPherson Spudders.
Yeah, I don't know
The-
much about the team, but we've definitely. I was told about it because a guy asked me if it was us, and I was like, no. But I don't. You look at like what that league's going to be trying to do, and it's like, good luck.
They're
'Cause
traveling.
like, I mean, like 4 or 5 states for teams. And
They have teams in Iowa, Grand Island,
There's no
Nebraska.
way. Yeah,
in
no,
Arkansas.
Texas, Arkansas.
Yeah,
The team of McPherson's
We're
going
in
to be in
Iowa.
Yeah.
a league that's going to travel
Yeah.
like that.
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
It's
Good. Yeah, good luck.
All right.
No chance. No.
it's a great question.
No. Who cares?
I don't know who's running it
Different
because the guy that texted me about it, he's an umpire, but I think he also does some stuff with the yard up there, which is a pretty big thing there in town. But he didn't even know who it was. They just got it approved through like city council stuff to be able to play at the field that they have there. I don't
Right.
know any of the
There,
inner workings of
I've seen
logistics.
some posts that are asking for like to fundraise $300,000 for this, that, and the other to make it happen.
Jeez.
Just crazy. And I know who the commissioner is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but zero faith. I've talked to the guy for 5 years.
There's just
Zero
no, I
faith
mean,
in that
the
happening.
money that you would need to go about doing that.
Oh, it's insane.
And not to mention, like, for what? Like, what type of product? It's just the things don't line up the right way, and people, I don't know, like for whatever reason, they just can't seem to grasp that concept. And I love our guys, like I think we put a great product in the KCLB out on the field, and I think that there is some spectator aspects to it, but there ain't $100,000 aspect to it. These are college baseball players, like they're not.
I imagine the $100,000 is just to do all the travel.
No, I get it, but I'm just saying when
absolutely.
you value the product that's actually going into these marketplaces and you take out you put the numbers behind what it is from an economic standpoint, it's just it doesn't equate. Like it just there's
They should
not
just
you
buy a
can't
bunch of
do enough.
campers and
Yeah, I mean you just can't do enough there to be able to make it all work. But
It's just a lot of travel in the summer too, especially after a full slate of spring ball. And
nobody wants to do that.
yeah,
Like
it's just and there might be a handful of kids out there that want to do it, but like when I'm recruiting to fill our team, like there's a lot of kids that like that's one of the first questions they ask is how much travel is it? I'm like,
Right.
well, you'll be back in your host family's bed every single night,
Yeah.
and some of them like it, and there's been a handful that want to travel,
Sure.
which okay,
yeah, I
teach
mean
their own, but
the schedules that are out there, I would say that I would say that it's less likely for summer guys to want to play the full length of the schedule when you're playing every single day. Like it's just you look at the Northwood schedules and in June they have 2 days off.
it's a grind, man.
You know what I mean? They play 30 or 29 days out of the 31 days.
Oh yeah, we had a couple alumni guys play for some teams up there, and I hopped on calls with them. It's like, dude, like what's the grind like? And yeah, kind of the same thing.
I think that league is saying 30 to 35 games, but when you look at it, that's a lot of travel. So you're playing and then you're traveling. So you're never home. That is
how do you afford it?
Yeah,
Like,
that's the.
I mean, we took road trips for you were in the league when we did that with Dodge
Oh,
and
yeah.
Liberal, and like that's like right down the road, but still,
a lot of
dude. You got 30 dudes that you're putting in beds, and even if you're going 4 to a room, I mean, we didn't even have a budget for it, and I think it still ended up being like $15,000 extra dollars that we just had to like come up with, and it's just.
Oh, I remember.
Not a feasible plan to do on a year-to-year basis.
Unless you were just really, really lucky. And
yeah,
you
I mean,
have
if you
someone
got some crazy fundraising, but that's people just think I don't know. We deal with that on a day-to-day basis. I know you do too, but people don't just give out money like they used to. I mean, and it sounds
They used to?
Yeah, I mean, it was just different. Like community engagement back, 20 years ago was just completely different than what it is now. And although I will still say that raising some funds is probably still easier than certain aspects of what we do, but it's just not as plentiful as it used
Not
to
in the
be.
tens of thousands.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
if you're in the hundreds of dollars, like that's still a feasible thing for people to swallow and do for sure. But if you're running around trying to raise $100,000 and you don't have some crazy reason behind it, I don't know. Like
philanthropy has kind of gone out the window.
It's a crazy thing in our space anyway. Certain spaces it's different. But.
Shoot, if we traveled as much as some of those other teams, I wouldn't have the coaching staff that I do.
Well, we wouldn't be able to survive.
No,
we couldn't provide an experience for the guys. Like
absolutely not.
Your experience is a bus window and
a
packed
sleeping
lunches.
bag. Like just sleep on the bus.
Yeah, here's your turkey sandwich.
It would
and
not,
some
not
chip.
work out well. But all right, 2018 into 2019. Obviously, we had meetings get into the league there. Let's kind of dive into how many teams were you sitting at that point in time? Like, tell us kind of the with the Kansas Curve
Sure.
and how it started to evolve, because obviously that's where you and I
Mhm.
got super acquainted. Maybe we knew each other before, maybe we didn't.
Mhm.
But when you started with the college team, what was kind of your numbers looking like as far as team stuff?
So when we added the college team in 19, that was our second team. Like I said, we finally had some alumni that had, like, before I was just helping place guys wherever, like they would ask, "Hey, do you know any teams?" And I don't know, I got to the point where it's like, man, they're asking me about teams. I might as well just start
Hmm.
a curve one. So like I said, we started that. But yeah, we had two at the time, and we ran two from 19 to technically, I think it was 2022. When I was coaching at North, we kind of had a JV style team that was full of a bunch of North guys and some other pickup kids. We didn't charge them the same or anything like that, and they just played, locally. So then we had those guys, and then the next fall was, like I said, when we had the 60 out. So then we had, my team, our other 18U team that Aaron Schellenberger ended up coaching, and then we still had another JV style team that year, but that I was at East at that point, so it was a combo of East and North guys, and again, didn't charge them the full price, and they only played local, and it was fun to hear people talk about that one. That Curve's got a money grab team. Like,
Hmm.
no, it's full of our JV kids and kids at those schools that, because I'm still super close with Griffith, so
Yeah.
always down to help him out, but you know being at schools like that, those kids don't play baseball
Hmm.
year round, which you're never going to be competitive if you're not. So
Right.
just giving them an opportunity to, like I said, they didn't go overnight anywhere. We
Mhm.
didn't charge them as much. They played at Genesis, they played at McPherson, just local stuff that
Yep.
just to get them reps. But yeah, it was funny to hear that whole thing about that. It's like, no, like we're not charging them.
Right.
I'm not
Well, and
charging them.
the curve, you guys have kind of done it what I think is backwards in comparison to the way a lot of organizations start. And I think the common thread of organizations starting is some dads have young kids that they
Mhm.
start something because they want to coach their kids, which is great, and they want to be involved with them, which is awesome. And then essentially what I typically see is, those guys start with the one team, they move along with that one team, they get
Mhm.
enough interest from parents and friends, and then they start their second team, but they're usually always younger going to older.
Mhm.
And you guys have predominantly, you started older and then
Mhm.
now have kind of started going a little bit younger. So
Mhm.
it's kind of the opposite approach
Yep.
there. And I think, before you and I got to know each other well, just kind of, I think your guys' reputation around the baseball community here anyway is like super competitive, very high level teams. Like you're
Mhm.
not trying to just have a team to have a team, right? At least in the beginning. And then as you guys have kind of grown, you've kind of distinguished, some of these
Mhm.
teams to be more of the developmental side in comparison to just like a tournament team or whatever you want to call
Mhm.
it. But by doing that, you also have drawn in players from a lot of other places. So touch on that a little bit, because I think in the beginning, at least what I remember was like, yeah, Baca's got this, 18-year-old team, but it's full of Oklahoma kids, some Texas kids on there,
There was a kid from Montana on that roster.
like stuff like that, right? So
We've had
kind
two
of,
Montana kids.
yeah. So how did that kind of process work? And, what were some of the, experiences that you had kind of building that team that direction?
For sure. So like early on, we got lucky when we first started that there was an organization in the area that had kind of disbanded. So we got lucky with, getting some area kids from that team, from that group. And, as the years went on, that was back when there was 4 or 5 different organizations in the area. And I think baseball was kind of at a pretty good point in the Wichita area in terms of like high school ball and travel ball. And I don't think there's a population big enough in Wichita to support multiple travel organizations. So, we were late to the party because a lot of these other organizations had been around for a little bit. So, there's good talent everywhere.
Hmm.
You go 2 hours south to Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, like there's really, really, really good baseball down there. And some of our best players that we've ever had have been from Oklahoma or just, middle of nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
nobody cities. Like Dave mentioned, we had a Montana kid. Like, yeah, so we went to Jackson Hole in 2021. The one good arm we saw was from Evan Hamburger from Belgrade, Montana. He pitched against us. He was probably 80, 82 then, and hit him up at the end of the summer. I said, "Hey man, like I don't know if you remember us, but we played you in Jackson Hole. If you think the Midwest travel ball would be fun, like let's chat." And he took 3 or 4 months to decide, but eventually came down, and he ended up going to a JUCO back up in Washington. But he's pitching at UConn now, and went to see him play last year. But yeah, it's just we weren't getting a bunch of kids from Wichita at the time, so we had to go out and find talent from everywhere. And there's always kids down. There's always kids that are down to play.
Yeah.
And there's always kids out there that are willing to leave their comfort zone to do something, cool. And I think it worked out. I think if you went back and called them all and asked, I think they would say that it would, they would do it again if they had the opportunity. But as our trout numbers increased, it was more area kids that were coming. And like even now, like we're sitting at 11 teams with the collegiate team. Like we still get our out of town kids, and we've had schools, in Tulsa and Oklahoma City and all these places where we've had kids, consistently over the years to where it's, they tell a buddy and then that buddy tells a buddy, and then here you are 4 or 5 years down the road and you're still getting kids from that same high school. Yeah, us growing is a lot. We're getting more Wichita kids now. There's still some of the better talent here that we don't get, for reasons I don't know. But yeah, like I said, we still go out and we still get draws from the good out of town kids, and it's.
Do you feel like the ladder climbing into the collegiate team has really improved? I mean, because you obviously have multiple teams and they try to grow into the collegiate team, and then you get you have a rock star high school team, man. Like the last couple of years they've been they're pretty travel and you guys go do some cool stuff. But like I know you get some of those guys some reps on the college side to prepare them for the next level. But do you feel like that pipeline for you going into the college roster is helpful?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's allowed us to build a pretty good foundation on the college team starting off. It's really been since we've grown. Like back when we had one team feeding into the college team, like yeah, we'd get maybe 2 or 3 guys. But now that we have these kids that have been in the program for now 2, 3, 4 years, and then they want to come back and play for the college team, it's definitely helped. And it gives us a head start on recruiting, between returners / kids from the previous 18U teams. I'm probably starting off, well, potentially other teams are starting with, 5 or less. We're starting with, we get a 10 to 15 player head start on the guys that, like I'll have guys that into their senior summer, like will tell me like, hey, after the last game, like, hey, like I'm in for the college team next summer. So it's definitely helped since we've expanded. And I think as, we have 15 to 18U every single level. And as I think as these kids get older and older and they keep filtering through the program, I think that trend will continue with, that pipeline feeding into it. And there's been some situations where like kids want to, but their college coaches won't let them, that type of thing. So we do run into that. Every now and then. But if we have a kid that goes to a school where the coach doesn't care, then yeah, they usually come back and play for us.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
Well, I see Sheldon looking over here,
staring at Sean like, bro, just say something. Oh, we got a word. Wait a second.
Sean doesn't like it when we ask him to ask questions, but so he says, "Look at him."
Kids
look at him. He
no,
just
I
smiles at
don't
him.
say discount code at Scooters. HQ 10.
Hey, that'd be a nice discount code.
Yeah, that'd be a fun code. Moving into your high school team and college team. I know you're in the KCLB and all of that stuff, and you've kind of started a new trend of having that elite travel team play in the Summer Ball Showdown for Oaks. Kind of give us a backstory on that name and what it truly means for you and the organization.
Yeah, for sure. So Josh Oakley, he was my best friend, passed away in 2021, COVID complications. I remember he coached with me and Coach Compton, who coached our college team. We all coached together. We all coached the 2019 team together. And I remember, I think we were on the way back from Texas. I don't know, maybe it was in the fall. Anyway, he was working on a paper for his master's class, and I don't even remember what it was over. But I had asked him, he was getting a master's in business, and I was like, just, we were just BSing. I was like, what do you want to do with your degree? He's like, well, I kind of want to grow what you've already started. And that was way before I had even, I didn't want to grow it at that point because I had just enjoyed having the one really good team. And, so, our growth was kind of, that's always been at the back of my mind. We've grown. It's like, all right, he wanted us to grow. I think he saw the vision for it before I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, we started Team Oakley, just, kind of a fun way to honor him. And we take the best of our high school kids. And we, throw them on the team. And we've gone 2-2 the last couple of years in SBS. So maybe we'll get over the 500 hump.
Little winning record this year.
One of these years, sitting right at 500. But, and Team Oakley, like, we beat some decent teams in SBS. Like, we've had some pretty high-end high school arms. I think not this past one, but the 24 SBS, we beat that Palm Springs team.
Yeah.
Shut them out 2-0. We had a kid, Keston Holman, that's at Johnson right now, going to Nebraska. Super efficient that day. Got him to the 9th inning at like 90-something pitches. Was about 10 pitches an inning, and no. I think he got 8 1/3, like no runs, 3 hits, like just. And we got
good little outing.
Yeah, the ball bounced. The 2 runs we scored, we had 2 outs, bases loaded, and just a little blooper into left field that, right in that perfect spot where a shortstop and left fielder couldn't get to it. And, that was in like the 4th or 5th inning. So, still a lot of game left after that. But,
it's always fun watching those guys out there because it's kind of a example of what we try to get, at least other organizations to see of the experience for those guys pays off long term more than you can even really explain it because they get to be inside of these games where like you guys play high level travel tournaments, you go around all over the place, like there's a setting there that they play inside of and they just become kind of used to that. But then when they come and play in the SBS, it's just a whole different animal.
It is.
And the experience that those guys get, especially incoming freshmen to college, right? Like they're graduated, they're getting ready to go. Like they show up probably in the fall and before they even know it, but they're just like, wow, like, okay, I've seen this speed of the game. Like I at least have gotten a taste of it, so then the confidence of those kids has to skyrocket. Like they just feel better about what's going on and how it's going
for sure.
on.
And like I tell those kids before we go into the tournament, like we have when we hand out the jerseys, I tell them like Josh's backstory and all that. But I tell them like, are we going to win the SBS as Team Oakley as an 18U team and it's not only seniors too, like we've suited up juniors and we've had juniors do really well, like our better juniors. And, we've had an occasional sophomore make the team, but like you guys are playing with nothing to lose. So just
go disrupt the system.
Play the game. Like you're playing spoiler. And like the last 2 years that we've played in it, the first year we ran into Mulvane, and we had a really good sophomore arm at the time, little inconsistent with throwing strikes, and, they just waited him out, and then it turned into, we weren't going to keep up with them offensively.
Right.
It was like, I think they ruled us like 18-9 or something like that, but we weren't going to keep up with them offensively. And then, last year running into Park City, it's just, you have to play.
That's 2 days in a row of teams running into Park City.
You have to play perfect baseball and just really have to have things
Yeah, it's cool. I just think that experience for the guys is something that SBS, it differentiates from other things that are out there because your young guys get the opportunity to play, college age guys, but they may also get the opportunity of playing guys that are, grown men, like older guys.
Plus 30.
Yeah. And those guys, when they get the chance, it's this cool flow of culture amongst all of the different levels of baseball. And you don't see that in any tournaments anywhere else, right? Like, so if you got these young dudes playing against these old guys, like just watching them on the field, like it's very special. Like you see the smiles, you see the guys talking to each other while they're on base. Like it's more than just about the competition. Like they're all out there trying to win. Like everybody's still doing that. But, you can just tell that there's this like special type of culture that's just building and happening because these older dudes want to give back to the younger guys, and the younger guys are aspiring to be like the older guys.
Yep.
You know, and it usually doesn't start that way in the first inning by any means, but you know, once the game's kind of settled into what it's going to look like, you can really see that
for
part
sure.
of it.
And we have guys that now ask about it pretty early, like, hey, like, you know, what's it take to be on Team Oakley on the high school side? So the guys are buying into it, you know, and cool. Like I said, I kind of sell the experience to them, like, you know, you seniors that are about to go play college ball in a couple weeks, you know, it's a good little taste to see what you're going to get into. And, you know, for our juniors and sophomores, it's, hey, like, this is how fast the game is. Like, if you want to play college baseball, then, you know,
get ready.
So, like I said, we have guys that buy into it pretty early now. And, but yeah, it's a fun little deal. I enjoy SBS putting that team in. It's still fun having our college team in it. But
for sure.
Yeah, it's fun having, like I said, and some of those guys go compete with, you know, even when we get blown out by Mulvane or we, you know, get absolutely blown out by Park City. It's like we still have guys that are, you know, in more of an individual matchup thing where guys are competing and, you know, a couple arms that, you know, overmatch college hitters and some of our better bats that, you know, can turn upper 8s, low 9s around, and just seeing some individual matchups and guys have success on the high school side that way and it gives them a ton of confidence too. Cause
the jump is crazy. And like, unless you've been in the game and understand it, those kids have no, like I said, they get into this groove of playing these high school tournaments and they think, oh yeah, like we're dominating here. We do this, we do that. But then when you go and see an entire lineup of grown young men, you know, that are over there and they're like,
there's not a lot of soft spots.
Yeah. You know, and you have to play the game the right way to be able to just compete. And there's a lot of things that go beyond just winning and losing at that point in time that I think the kids can take and help them big picture. But
absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about some of the guys that you've had. So you guys obviously, you know, with the program that you've ran and the people that have been inside of it, what are, you know, some of the places that guys have gone off to play? Because I know you got some pro guys that are out there still playing to this day, which I think is obviously a big differentiator for you guys in our market in comparison to some of the other organizations that are around here. You know, and part of that has to do with the players and them, obviously, but it is cool to be able to kind of put a little bit of a touch onto like, oh yeah, like this guy played for us and was a part of our organization and his development, right? So what are some of those names and different places that they're playing right now?
For sure. So someone can fact check me on this if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we're the only
R&D.
I'm pretty sure we're the only organization in this
R&D.
area that actively has guys playing pro ball.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all.
Because like and of course trying to be humble about it, like generally thinking like, okay, like who are some of the guys?
I think there's just one
that's still playing from this area.
Well, from Wichita, maybe.
Yeah, like in the metro area,
but not has played in like the KCLB or anything. But
no,
from this area.
just got
He's talking like
Greater Wichita area. Okay.
Yeah, so like we have Braxton Hyde. He was our first guy to get drafted. He played for us for 3 years, 18 to 20. Got drafted out of Butler. He was in high A with the Rockies in Spokane. Feeling pretty good about him possibly going to double A up in Hartford this year. You have Isaac Tiger, who's in the Rangers organization, which I was pumped when they drafted him. You know, being a lifelong Rangers fan, you know, seeing my favorite team draft
one of your guys,
one of
our dudes, man. Like
you made it happen.
Yeah.
Did you buy a jersey?
Not yet.
Only when he gets to the show.
Yeah. No, I was talking to Braxton about this. Like, I need to get like a jersey for each of the teams that you guys are on.
Kind of have your like memory wall.
Yeah. Isaac was injured all of last year, but he was on
that dude can freaking sling the baseball.
As he throws the shit out of it, man.
He really does.
He absolutely throws the shit out of it.
The thing that I like about him at Butler, especially, like he's not a big dude, you know. Like he's a big dude. Like he's
tall.
strong.
Yeah,
like he just slings the baseball. Like it's just effortless.
And what's crazy is, and I don't know if a lot of people know this about him. Like so I think it was the season the COVID year cut short.
Yeah,
he took a full year off before he came back to Butler again, and was still just
chucking that thing,
throwing mid upper nines. I think he hit 100 a couple times.
Yeah, he did.
So he was
Hit
on
101, I think, on TrackMan.
hmm He was on the Hub City Spartanburgers roster. I think that's their high A team. But I've seen a lot on Twitter recently that I think there's a good shot that when he's healthy, he's going to start in Double A this year.
Yeah,
But he's like a top 20 prospect for the
Yeah.
Rangers.
crazy.
And then we have Isaiah Salinas, got drafted by the Orioles. I think he's still in the complex league. He got hurt last year, so I don't know how much he played.
So wasn't that the kid? I'm trying to remember.
Which
it.
kid played on the Cluckers?
I think that was him.
Salinas? I think he played on the first year
Yes.
of the Cluckers.
That was like his sophomore, junior summer.
Yeah.
He came and tried out for the Cluckers and then made the team. And then
Yes.
the next year he played for you and got drafted.
He got drafted out of Cali. So he played for us his senior year, went to Cali.
He always had the. He's a lefty.
Yes.
Right, and he always had the off-colored armband.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
yes.
the craziest
Yeah.
story, probably KCLB /
Mhm.
history. Like, because
Yeah.
we were literally scrambling to get enough players for the team because we had other teams last minute. Obviously, you're running a tournament, everybody waits till the last minute to commit. You know,
Oh, yeah.
so we have a team commit last minute, and we're like, well, shit, now we need another team to make it even.
And then the
Mhm.
Cluckers were
So
finally
and
born.
yeah,
The
and we
Cluckers
had
were
it
born.
waiting in the wings, you know. But then we go scrambling out. We run out to Genesis because you guys like there's an 18-year-old tournament, and you know, so we're bouncing
out
around,
flyers,
like
just-
handing out, like, hey, we're gonna have a tryout over here at Mac. Like, come over, you know, like we just need this many people to be able to play, and we'll just figure it out along the way.
I think he played for the Cluckers before he played for us because he played.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. He did.
Yeah.
He played a little. He helped us out a little bit the fall of his senior year, and then we got him on board for
Yeah.
his senior summer. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so like we have those three guys playing baseball or playing pro ball.
That's crazy that he got drafted.
I know.
Like, absolutely.
I mean,
he-
but the maturity level from when we saw him on the Cluckers to him playing for the Curve was night and day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pretty much he traveled with me pretty much every weekend
Yeah.
that summer.
I mean, he
But
had
that's where
to-
like
it
Jake
just went-
Wiggins. Jake Wiggins was the first
Mhm.
time we met him, and he came out there and he tried out at the same time frame, so they're
Mhm.
roughly got to be
Right.
close to the same age. He was coaching a
Yeah.
team out there. He came out, pitched in the little scrimmage that we had,
Yeah.
and then that's when Randy picked him up.
Mhm.
He was like, "No, I want to have him on Park City. We'll throw him one
Yeah.
of the first few days." We're like, "All right, whatever."
And then he went
But-
on like a cruise or something.
Mhm.
But Isaiah was there as well too, and we were like, "Dude, you guys can't just take all the pitchers. Like,
Yeah.
we got to have enough to."
Salinas
have
was
'em."
one of those dudes. Like when he would throw, you could just hear the
Yeah. Oh yeah.
of the ball.
Yeah.
And like
He was like a little 3/4 then.
Mhm.
I mean, he may have changed.
and
his
like
slot
all
now,
three of
but-
those guys, like Hyde throws the shit out of it too.
Yeah.
Like he's
He's a big guy though.
yeah,
I mean,
he's like I can't remember if him and Tiger are roughly the same height, but I think Hyde's a little bit thicker
yeah.
than Tiger is. But you know, I got a chance to watch Hyde pitch at spring training 2 years ago when I was at East. We took our spring break trip down there, and the day we got done early and didn't have any plans till the evening. Just got lucky and Braxton was throwing
That's awesome.
at the complex, so I drove the 30 minutes over to their complex and just that was the first time I'd seen him pitch since his last game with us in 2020. I never got to see him in college because he was always since they switched to the Thursday Sunday or this Thursday Saturday, he would always throw on Thursday
Thursday.
at 1 p.m. when I'm at work
Huh.
during spring season, so it was impossible to.
Unless you were taking 2 days off.
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
But that was the first time I saw him pitch in what was that 3.5 years, and
Oh
just
wow.
the way it like. You know, obviously his mechanics are a lot better now than they were back then, but just,
Sure.
you know, it's still kind of the same little,
Yeah.
You
thing,
just
but just-
knew.
yes, but just watching the ball
Yeah.
come out,
Yeah.
man, was just, because he was probably 88, 90 for us his senior year. And then, you know, seeing him sit 92, 94, just
Pumping 94.
just watching it come out. It's
Yeah.
just, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I remember because I talked to that was when BJ was there,
Yep.
when Tiger was there, and I
Mhm.
was asking him like, "What's this guy do?" And he's like, "Dude, he's just a freaking weight room warrior. Like he
It's-
just long toss of the weight room. He just keeps it simple."
it's going to be fun here in a couple years. So there's that picture that floats around every now and then. I think it was Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty, Max Fried, and there was one other arm that all went to the same high school in like Austin.
Giolito.
Yeah, Giolito. Yeah. That
Research and development.
all
nice.
all three of those guys, you know, were on the same high school staff and they're all pitching in the bigs league.
Uh-huh.
You know, like we had Hyde and Tiger on the same 2019 team. Like
That's
that was our
wild.
1-2 punch that year, and like we got multiple pictures of them together. It's like,
So if they both make
here
it
in a
up
couple
there,
years, they both
yeah.
make the show and have good, careers. Like being able to look back, I'm like, man, like that was our 1-2 punch that year.
Yeah, no lie.
But yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Even outside of those pro guys, like we've had some guys go, D1 schools. Like Jarrett Flygert went to Wichita State, bounced back to Cali. Now is at A&M Corpus Christi. The Hamburger kids at UConn. We had a kid named Nick Noble went to Pratt's at Fairleigh Dickinson now. We just had a kid go to KU last year, Madden Seidel. But most of our kids, I think we have 263 commits now, and 174, 5 of them are JUCOs.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many exactly, but majority of those are here in Kansas. Like on our website, on our placement tab, I have like listed by schools how many we've sent. I think our Barton, Tabor, just because,
right down.
Played for Mark, and
Yeah.
Jake Jones is a good buddy of mine, so we try to pump them as many dudes as we can too. But like Barton, Tabor, Pratt, Butler, I think, and maybe Cloud, like is our kind of our top 5 on where we send the most dudes.
Well, on that note, like talk about like how the curve mentality is, right? Like, because that's always been your goal, right? Like that's been the number one thing, and I think that that's the thing you promote in a very, very good way. But then that's also kind of reputation. What you're known for is like, if you come play with the curve, like we're going to get you a college opportunity, right? So talk about that a little bit.
For sure. I don't know if it necessarily started out that way. Like the first couple of years, it just kind of happened where every senior that we had got offered and ended up committing. And then we got to the point where like we sat down and we're like, man, like we haven't had a senior not get an offer. And so it just continued to, my job is to make sure like the kids that like they come play for the curve because they want to play college baseball. So it's my job to make sure that I put them in the position to be able to do that. So I tell everybody, and it's still true to this day. And there's people out there that, mock us for it. And, when I post tryouts and all this, when I say we have 100% offer rate, people like laugh at it. And it's genuine. Like if you're a senior and you want to play college baseball, I think, in this area, we're the best place to be because literally every senior we've had has got an offer to play college baseball. Now it's up to those kids to decide if they want to go play college baseball, which 99.8% of them have. And we've had a couple of kids go play other sports. Like we just had a kid that committed to Colgate for track from Oklahoma City, Cruz Gillespie. But I mean, dude,
what's he doing track?
I think he's fast. I think just like sprint work. I don't know exactly what he's doing, but he's like running stuff, but he's fast. But like, so we have guys like that, we've had a couple guys go play college football. I think we've had 1 or 2 guys go play college basketball, but every senior we have had on the curve has gotten an offer to play college baseball.
Yeah.
Like I said, people think we're just bullshitting and just to pump numbers up. I'm like, no, like it's
your goal. It's your passion.
Yeah.
It's like, that's your why, and that's
well,
awesome.
When you talk about feeder teams, because I could probably rant on that plenty, and you and I have talked about it plenty as well too. But you see all these programs that are around here, and usually this is kind of an overstatement, I suppose, but a lot of times like these organizations start, and when they start, they're starting in good faith, right? Like they want to do the right things for the kids and they want to help them and all that stuff. But typically it's a bunch of dads, moms, whatever, that are quote unquote kind of baseball people. Youth baseball people would be the best way to explain it. But then they try to run a business and they have no idea how to run a business, right? So it's bad business people trying to run a business. And then it ends up turning into this internal just struggle and battle and problem. And people don't understand that if you want these things to be successful, like you have to be incredibly smart, disciplined, understand all of the little things still have to get taken care of. It's not as simple as just, oh, hey, like, let's just go play a bunch of baseball games, like, let's just go and do it. And that's usually you see, all these organizations pop up and they get their indoor facility and they get this and they get this because they're like, oh, man, this is going to be awesome. And then as soon as they get, finished with the winter time and we roll into the nice parts of, our seasons here, it's like, well, who's paying for the
Yeah,
facility
the bill
anymore. Yeah,
arrives.
like
yeah.
you know, and then they're like just bleeding money, you know, and
Yep.
they can't do it, and then they're around for 6 months to a year, and then it's just like poof, they're gone,
Yep. And
and it just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse
Yep.
and repeat.
Oh,
And our
dude.
market, like what you talked about earlier, our market here does not support the numbers that it takes to do what Kansas City does, right?
Oh,
Or
absolutely.
St. Louis, right? Places that are close to us. And, you know, we have people that we work with in all those places. Just everything is more expensive there. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why they can afford to do the stuff, right? Like cost of living is different. I mean,
Mhm.
what people are making is different. Here, and it's a Midwest mentality, I think, too. But like if people aren't actively using it, they're not paying you for it. Like
Mhm.
that's not
Right.
something that they want to necessarily do. You can wiggle and make certain things happen, but it's just every single one of them, literally every single one of them that has been here has started and failed
That's what
that I know of. Like
see, and that's
I
where
mean,
that's where I kind of like that's where I kind of struggle with, you know, we've been around 11 years.
Yeah.
We've had no name changes. We've never changed our colors. We've never had a buyout. I've always been in charge. We've outlasted every. So when we started in 15, you know, I'm not going to name drop them here because I don't want to give them the, you know, publicity. But,
you
you
go.
know, we've outlasted just about every single. We've outlasted just about every single organization in this area. You know,
I
like-
don't think that there's an organization in the area from when I grew up playing that's around anymore.
there might be one.
Which one?
Good old the Grays, but
They weren't a thing when I was
oh,
started.
okay,
I think they started after me.
yeah,
But
but
that would be, I mean, they're at least familiar.
Yeah.
That would
I mean,
be
but
the only
but
one.
like talking to baseball people, like honestly, like they're the longest tenured
Yeah, right now.
organization.
Yeah.
They've been around.
Well, because it was Sluggers
Yeah.
when I was growing up.
Yep.
That was the big one. And then Sluggers changed 13 different times to different things over the last decade.
No, that was so Sluggers stayed consistent up until
Yeah.
Mark sold it.
Yeah. Basically, when Mark was out,
Mm-hmm.
it just started becoming haywire.
But we've outlasted everybody. We
Yeah.
put a good product on the field.
Yep.
We get all our kids to college, so it's like, you know, unless I'm just out of touch with something, you know, I'm sure there's people out there that think I'm unlikable, and you know, I've heard people say,
Oh, people call me an asshole all the time.
yeah,
Sure,
Ugh,
Sean's
don't even-
families think that I'm crazy.
but travel ball, man, it's such a
Well, there was the dads.
Oh yeah.
not so much on the college side, but I see this more on the high school side, man. But it's such a slimy.
Ugh.
It's such a slimy business,
And they wonder why it fails.
and it's
Yeah.
it sucks because you know there's good, you know, being around 11 years, I've made some really good connections, and there's
Yeah.
people out there that have really really good, you know, foundations that
Yeah.
do it the right way. And, you know, and I talk to those guys quite a bit, you know, because those are the guys that I want to, you know, model after. And you know, how are you having success? And you know, those guys that are having that success, they don't mind sharing
Yeah, 100%.
the kind of success because they're confident in the product they put on the field. But it's such a slimy way because, you know, there's parents that'll pay for bullshit that if you just feed them a bunch of lies, parents that don't know any better.
Yeah.
Because either one, they've never played competitive baseball, or two, it's like it's their oldest kid and they just don't know.
Right.
But, you know, all these organizations that pop up and yeah, we're going to charge, you know, $3,500 and it doesn't include anything. It's like, what are we doing?
Right.
You know, like
Right.
just, but it's easy. It's an easy industry to take advantage of people.
100%.
And, you know, and there's a handful of us out there that, you know, try to do it the right way and, you know, make our cost, make it as cheap as we can. Cause like it's a business now, like the curve is a business now. So, you know, for me trying to make it as cheap as possible, yet, you know, still making sure my coaches are taken care of. You know, I put in a crap ton of work to make, you know, to
Well,
make it,
you know,
to
if
make
you're
it
running
what
a
it is.
business,
Yeah.
man, you're don't do that. I get
But-
that one too all the time.
And I
Don't-
think-
don't be a businessman.
And I
Don't-
think
don't
we,
do it.
and I think, and there's a
Don't
right,
get started.
and there's
on
a right way to, do it.
Yeah.
There's definitely a right way to where you can, you know, make some decent money and take care of
Well, you
yourself
better
and take
not-
care of your
well,
employees.
You better not want to
Don't-
do that
don't-
either.
yeah.
Don't take care of your family.
Don't talk
man.
about that. It should be all for the
There's-
kids.
well, dude,
Come
this
on,
is what-
dude.
There were organizations in this area that weren't even paying their coaches. It's like, that's the first thing I make sure I do in the summer.
how do you expect people to want
Yeah.
to give you everything they can give you if you don't
Yeah.
value them? I mean, and granted, like, there's limitations to everything, but, like, trust me,
Yeah. Dude, I try to make
I'll
sure my coaches pay for as little as possible in the summer.
Right.
Like, I feel like I pay them pretty well. I don't make them pay for a hotel room.
Right.
Maybe an occasional, maybe one weekend every now and then, or occasional night or two. But 95% of their hotels are covered. Usually when we all travel to the same events, we always usually get together for a meal or two a weekend where, I pay for. And that's how you keep good coaches around.
Exactly.
And, these coaches that, the kids like, the parents like, and, we don't have a ton of turnover in the coaching department because guys want to be here.
Right. Yeah, no, I think you guys are running it,
Mm-hmm.
the best way that you can. Obviously, there's always challenges and there's always different pieces that
Oh, for
pop
sure.
up over time.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's just you got to be able to make it all tick and make it all work. And the people that are involved in your program that obviously see the vision, see the big picture, it just takes time to be able to grow it to the level that you're currently sitting at. And then
Yeah.
once you're able to get there, now you can be a little bit more flexible with different things. Like you guys are able to provide certain things that other organizations aren't going to be able to do because you got a 10+ year track record of saving money, spending money smartly, like going through making sure that your guys are taken care of. Like it's a long game. And, you guys are doing a good job at that.
That's another thing that's helped since we've grown is like all our coaches that we have, like they buy into the expectation, the standard, the vision. Like they're obviously not as bought in as me because, no one's ever going to be as bought in as I am because, it's mine that I started.
Yep.
But they're as bought in as they should be as, as coaches. And some of them, I would say most of them go above and beyond to, make sure our standard is met, to make sure that, players are meeting expectations, parents are meeting expectations. So it's, like I said, they've helped out a ton. So that's definitely made me feel better about growing is that, we have coaches now that played for the Curve. So we have alumni guys coaching, just guys that I've known for a while. And even the quote strangers that have came in, like James Hoffman, for example, like he was a random DM on Twitter that like, hey man, like, you got some good players and, would you be open to, possibly bringing them over? And I just, like gave him the spiel and, he liked it, liked what we were about. And, now he's one of my, closest buds and, but just stuff like that. But it helps that you have a good support staff that believes in, they believe in what I'm trying to do and they're on board with, helping that brand grow.
Well, it definitely takes the support for sure. Without
Absolutely.
it, it's impossible on the growth side. But
I've been stewing on this question, so
Okay.
I'm gonna jump in here. So we talked a lot about Park City.
Yep.
Let's talk college, the college league, and the KCLB side of it. 2024 championship matchup in the KCLB league tournament. Lose to Park City. Open the season up 2025 against Park City. End the season against Park City with a dub. So walk me through all of that. I mean, Compton's first year head coach, right, for this year, and you guys get the job done in a big fashion. And seeing those guys celebrate that was huge. So
awesome.
Kind of walk through the evolution of the college team and the KCLB because, the KCLB has its own core values and things like that.
Sure.
You guys match up with that based on the conversations we're having. So where does all of that go? I mean, you started in 2019 with the KCLB?
Yep.
And this was your first championship?
Yep.
So what has that been like moving through all of that and then finally getting it?
For sure. So kind of back to what I said earlier, like when since we've expanded, we've had more, kids filter into the college team. I think last year's league title definitely is a like showing of that. I think we had roughly 10 guys from high school teams that were on that team. And, I think I'm not meaning to, like, Emilio did a great job for all those years. Like, he was great. Dawson did a fantastic job running, that team. But I was telling people, like, I don't think it's a coincidence that the first year that Compton takes over, we win. Because I mean, he's our second longest tenured coach in the Curve. He's been with the program since 2019. You know, he coached with me in 2019, and he helped out with me again in 2020. And then, 21 is when his work side started to get more serious to where he couldn't travel. So, he still wanted to be involved with the program. So, that's when he hopped on the college team, and just really since 21, he's just developed even as the assistant coach. And there's been like he's been the 2, he's been the 3, no matter what assistant role he's been in, whether like he's been the first base coach or he's been the bench guy or whatever role he's been in, he has just built this culture over the last 4 and 5 years that, we have returners coming back. We have guys that want to play. Like when I ask returners, oh, well, is Compton going to coach again? I'm like, yeah, he is. And, just the culture that he developed over the years. And,
He brings a lot of energy
he
too.
brings a
much of it.
shit ton of energy. And there's been some guys in the past that have not liked it because, it depends on, again, what the kid wants out of summer. There's guys in the summer that don't like the rah-rah stuff, but it's very, very few guys. Like kind of, and those kids were a little standoffish where it's like, I'm just here to play. I don't really care what the name is. I don't care about the vision. Like I'm just here to get reps, which, we've kind of steered clear from those guys because like, well, yeah, those kids were probably 2 of our better guys that we've had on the college team, but we have a more enjoyable time with the
Right.
kids that it's hard to get college guys to buy into a summer of, this is what the Curve represents. But, he sets the tone day one and like, hey, like, this is the standard that, Baca set was starting the Curve. This is the standard that I now keep with the college team. Now that he's finally in charge, that culture is just the cultures that he set, that he started is what keeps people coming back. And, it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of rah-rah. And I don't know. I always thought summer ball was just reps, reps, reps. And, said guys aren't really buying in, but dude, he just gets them to buy in and he gets them to believe, man. And it's
Well, I think that's something that
Mhm.
the sport in general
Yep.
needs, right? Like we
Yep.
talk about all the time because we're always talking recruiting and players and just their personalities and the changes and just all of that stuff. And that's the culture I grew up playing in. Like it didn't
Mhm.
matter who you played for or what team or what
Yep.
level or what it was. Like when
Absolutely.
you were out there, you were representing your name, your
Yep.
family, where you're from, who you
Oh,
are.
yeah.
Like, and people took pride in that. Like you took pride in having the opportunity to step across the line and be out there and represent something. This day and age, with the way that kids have become, like
Me,
that,
me, 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 me.
yeah, it's completely gone a different direction. So you know, I think that, and we talk about this on the recruiting side the most.
Mhm.
It's you see all these things that the players think are cool, and that's what they want to go and do, and
Mhm.
blah blah blah. And I instruct you, our coaches, everybody. I'm like, no, dude, we have to make the KCLB the thing that they want to come be a
Yep.
part of.
Absolutely.
And whether they know it or not, that's what I think in sports in general, but that version of that culture is really what athletes are drawn towards. There might be a little hesitation here and there, and this isn't cool, whatever. But once they're in it and they buy into it, and then the success follows them, then all of a sudden they're all about it, right? We talk about
Yep.
it like in Parisi and foundational stuff, right? Like it's just when you warm up a certain way, when you do something a way over and over and over again, it sets that standard. And then that's what you are, accustomed to doing.
Yep.
And then that, when you get there, you just expect it. So if we want the KCLB, we want the Curve, we want all of these teams to be the destination that players want to be a part of. We've got to set our standard. We have to set it and we have to raise it and raise
Yep.
it and raise it. And we can't falter on that and allow it to just be what it is this summer and change it this summer.
Mhm.
That's why I like teams that have come around that have failed or have gone other places, things
Mhm.
like that. That's really what it boiled down to, right?
Mhm.
KCLB has a standard. If you don't want to follow the standard or rise to the standard, then bye. Like I don't care. Like if you go to the other league or go do your other thing, see you later. Like that's fine.
Mhm.
We're not stepping down because you want it to be easier for you.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not going to do it. Like, it's
Yep.
just not, it's not how we grow.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that you guys have obviously rose to that occasion, and you
Mhm.
guys are, you know, actively pursuing that stuff, which is why you have the success is following, you know, and it takes people just standing up and like doing it. You know what I mean? People like Compton. Shout out to Compton, because he's been around summer baseball his freaking whole life.
I was
You
talking
know?
to my brother about
Like-
this the other day, and I don't think, and I've talked to Compton about this before, I don't think he's had a summer off from baseball, honestly, since he started playing, because
Yeah.
he played every summer youth, every summer of high school.
Yep.
You know, his post senior year he played, and then he goes to college, and then, you know, that first summer after their freshman year, him and my brother, they played for Park City.
Yep.
And then that next year, he went to Joplin for 2 years, and then post senior summer was that 2019 summer where he coached with me. And he was like halftime in 2020, but he was still involved. So like outside of that, then I was, like I said, college team in
College.
21, and then
Yeah.
boom.
Well, and his family's
Every year
awesome.
since
They've
then.
hosted
Oh,
for
yeah.
the league. They've been a part of doing that for
Mhm.
ever since I've ever known them, you know, even
well-
before my time in the league.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I was in high school, we hosted Park City dudes back in
Yeah.
the day. We had, shoot, I want to say 4 or 5,
Yeah.
maybe even 6 years of hosting Park City guys
Yeah.
back when, you know, back when it was a thing. And, you know,
Yeah.
like that's another thing on host families. Like we still keep in touch with all those
Oh,
dudes that stayed with
100%.
us, went to 2 of their weddings. And,
Yeah.
but yeah, he did a really good job last summer. And, you know, they don't necessarily do a ton of the recruiting, which
Mhm.
I don't expect them to, but I tell them, like, I will get you guys the players to have success.
Yeah.
And, you know, and was last summer's team that won the KCLB maybe our most talented team ever? I don't think so.
Probably
I
not.
think we've had some teams in the past that have been pretty good, but just have been, you know, maybe a bad seed here and there. Or just, you know, we've had some really good teams come through the KCLB the last couple of years that
Yep.
just, you know, railroad a season, that type of thing. We just ran into the wrong guy on the wrong night. But,
Right.
you know, he got the most out of those kids, and the right guys ended up sticking around all summer.
Yep.
And when that's another big thing too, is, you know, we've talked about this
Oh, yeah.
before plenty of times, guys leaving early, guys like that. But like we had the right guys stay, and the quality arms stay because they liked playing.
And they wanted to be there.
They wanted to
I
be
mean,
there
there's the
because
difference.
they wanted to play for Compton.
Yeah.
And, you know, having, you know, Case and Long, who had played in the league for a couple of years, having him as a coach was awesome. You know, Logan Dryden, who'd played in the league before, you know, having a younger staff that, you know, of guys that have, you know, played for the Curve and played in the league,
Yeah.
you know, I think made a big difference too.
Oh,
It was
for
just,
sure.
it was a staff that they wanted to play for, they wanted to show up for. And, you know, like I said, he sets the standard day one. Like we have our first practice, I go out there, I say what I say to them, you know, and then Compton, you know, he rah gets him going. And,
Yeah.
you know, if there's anybody, he wants to win.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I want to win. He
Yeah.
wants to win. And we've had some, it's so funny. And like we've had some, you know, my team versus the college team. We've had not chippy, but, you know,
Yeah.
like the juices get going, man. Like,
Oh, yeah.
and we've had some really, really tight games with them over the last couple of years. Like we've only been blown out by our college team one time. That was in 2019. But every, like 21,
Like in the beginning of the season.
yeah,
your preseason stuff.
the 2019 team, they beat us like 17-1. But then ever since then, like 21, we got walked off on in 14 innings, 7-6. The next year, 3-run walk-off run by the college team with 2 outs. We were up. You know, then we had a 4-2 game, and, you know, then we beat them one year 2-1. And then last year we lost 12-9 with the tying run on second base or first base. You know, it's like we've had really
Right in it.
competitive games, and, you know, it's a
good little rivalry.
But I mean, he tells the college team, like, you're not going to just run over these kids, man. Like,
Right. Well, yeah, you guys got the advantage of
Mhm.
having them all together, and those are all
Uh-huh.
new guys. But
which
still,
that's another thing too, is usually we like to play them before our season starts. It's
Mhm.
always a preseason game for them. But
Yep.
so it is, you know, if we played them maybe like our last preseason game where they played 4, 5, maybe 6 games together.
might be a little different.
But usually we play them, it's either their first game or their second game. So where they're still feeling guys out.
Oh,
and
for
and
sure.
he's still, you know, like he uses our game to like we see a different guy every inning
Yeah.
type of thing, or every 2 innings.
Yeah. It's a glorified scrimmage.
It
but,
is, but
But it
you
is
know,
still good to
yeah,
have the competitive
and
juices.
it's good for a selling point for me on the high school side to like, hey, like
Yeah. You get to
you
play
know,
college dudes
we
right out the jump.
start out our season on the 18U side playing the alumni,
Right.
which depends on which alumni show up. We've had alumni show up where they're still actively playing, so you're playing another college team, and you go from the alumni to the college team. It's a good, usually an 0-2 start right out the gate. But
That's funny.
yeah, no, he's done a fantastic job, and
My favorite memory of Compton is the year he was getting married. He came up to me and he was like, Bush, we're if I'm supposed to be getting married tomorrow, I'll probably miss that game, but if we make it to Sunday, I'm delaying my honeymoon.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
gonna win this thing. I need to get 2 rings on this weekend. Like, just how
Mhm.
hyped he was for
Oh, yeah.
that, and just
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was even like when he was assistant coach. But see, it's crazy. It's like he still brings the same energy.
Well, yeah,
Whether
it's
he's
just who he
assistant,
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
And
that's also part of the culture.
Yep.
He's not faking it as an
Nope.
assistant. You know what I mean? Like he's about it no matter which
Mhm.
way. And
Yep.
that's why
It's-
the success is
yeah,
there. I mean,
and
that's a big portion
Yeah.
of it anyway.
He's the right guy for the job. Like I said, guys we've had in the past, Emilio's a really good friend of mine, and he did a fantastic job
Yeah,
with those
he's
dudes.
awesome.
And I know Dawson for all these years, and Dawson's, he's a good dude, and he coached those guys up. And man, like when you get the right fit, you just know.
For sure.
And he's the dude for that job. And
Well, I'm excited to see, obviously, with some coaches changing across the KCLB landscape.
Mhm.
We'll see what some new rivalry with Park City might look like. Obviously, with new coach over there,
Mhm.
but Park City coach going to Wellington, so maybe that stirs
the-
something up too.
yeah, the Park City Rangers curve 2.0.
Yeah, we'll see. Who knows? 'Cause that's been a 2-year battle, and just back and forth,
See, and
back
what's
and
fun-
forth.
What was fun about that is, I've gotten to know Randy.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, now he's coaching with you.
Yeah, since he got in the league. So, like, while it was always like a super competitive, I guess, rivalry, it was
Sure.
never like, I mean, like any of the teams, like they're always fun rivalries, but there's never. It's like, oh, I just hate the Rangers.
Right.
Screw these guys. We're
Yeah.
gonna beat them. It's fun. It's a fun competitive.
Yeah.
Atmosphere. And like even with all the teams, like the year the El Dorado was really good. Like,
Mhm.
we want to beat the shit out of them, but we don't hate the guys. Like,
Right.
those are great dudes over there. And,
Yeah.
same with Jenkins and Wellington. Like,
Yep.
it's fun. It's a fun, competitive atmosphere where, at the end of the day, that, nobody's getting mad at anybody. Nobody's like,
Right.
Screw these guys.
Well,
fun.
knowing you're going to play them that many times in
Yeah.
the summer too, it allows you to strategize a little
For
bit.
sure.
You start to understand the way that the coaches
Yeah.
coach the game, and then you get different little
Yeah.
pieces of that.
And I think
too,
that
which
just
is
goes
awesome.
back to the culture of the league too. It's like, we can be super competitive and, things might get a little heated
Yeah. Oh yeah.
during the game, but then after the game, you can shoot the shit in the parking lot or,
Yeah.
hop on a phone call and
Oh, I'll definitely think or say I think that's what separates the
Yeah.
KCLB from a lot of things out there is our league is league first mentality.
Mhm.
And it's, you're not in the league if you're not going to accept that and be a part of
Mhm.
it. We get it. Everybody wants to win, but just like last year, that season's gone and we're getting ready to start another one,
Mhm.
So like we can talk about it all the time, but nobody remembers any of the heated times or any of that stuff because we all have the same mentality of
Mhm.
why we're doing what we're doing. And, so when we get into our off season meetings, we're not worried about that stuff anymore. We're hanging out, building relationships with each other and
Right.
trying to help each other, as we move along through life
Oh,
with
yeah.
our, more, I guess, meaningful relationships, I guess, rather than worrying about, who won or who lost,
Yeah.
like, and that part of it, I think, makes it why it's grown as much as it has, but also just in the sense of why all of us have grown the direction that we've grown is because we got each other's backs. We're here to help each other,
Mhm.
and that's why, we don't have these arguments going on behind closed doors
Nope.
and then these backroom deals and these guys doing this and doing that. and
Everybody's
then-
up front with everybody.
Yeah, it works really well together, and that's why we've I think moved the direction that we have. But But it's been a fun journey for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's been
a
been
blast.
awesome to watch it grow. And let's talk a little bit just about Clearwater, because that's what
For
you
sure.
guys are
Mhm.
playing. So I think it'd be good to kind of chat about them a little bit.
Yeah.
City of Clearwater, obviously we've had a team there in the past, that bounced around and did some different things. But with you guys being there, talk about that community a little bit. What are some of the things that maybe Clearwater people that might see this, they could help you with,
sure.
or, what you're going to try and do there in their community?
For sure. So they were pretty, we were at Eisenhower for all those years, and ran into issues with them not wanting to rent it out to outside, just a whole bunch of BS in my opinion. Why are you turning down free money? But at that point, I'm like, okay, where are we gonna go now? Like,
Mm-hmm.
all the communities in the area you're taking, and I was like, oh, I think Clearwater would be a good fit. I'm a West Side dude. Compton's a West Side dude. All of my host families, 90% of them were West Side. Within close range to Eisenhower, because that's where they were traveling. I was like, Clearwater's not that far out of the way. So I remember I had reached out to the city, I think on email, and kind of told them like, this is who we are. This is where we've been. Went to a city council meeting, pretty much told them what we were about. It got, this will be our third year there, but they all unanimously voted yes to allow it. We agreed on everything. And, I didn't even have to go back last year. I said, hey, I want to come back. And they said, okay, we'll tab it for the meeting. And she emailed me after the meeting, said it approved again, good to go. We take care of the field in the summer. We've gained a little bit of community interest. The first summer was kind of slow, and then last summer, more people in the stands. Um, and that a little on me too. I need to be a little more, in the community with, I took a couple days last year where I would go to businesses and talk with them, and hey, we're looking for sponsorships. This is, who we are. Like, we don't charge to get into the game. So, tell your family, tell your customers to come.
Right.
Some of the best collegiate baseball, in the country, are in these communities where it's, a small town like that, or, where, hey, like, yeah, it's a Friday night. Let's go watch the Curve play,
Right.
good matchup.
Right.
But no, eventually I would like to get more host families down there. When we've had a couple Clearwater players the last couple of years, and, I know, Coach Tracy, since we've been there, he's been coaching down there since I was in high school. So, I've known him, and, asking him, and as even the city, like, where can I go to get, the most outreach to people, and,
Yeah.
How can I get, because I want host families in Clearwater, so they're down there in the community.
For sure.
I mean,
Well, and just getting them to come out. Clearwater's
sure.
obviously super small. It's like
Mhm.
where most of the teams are located.
Yep.
There ain't anything to do in Clearwater.
Mm-mm.
They got probably one bar that's close to there for people to socialize at, and a few restaurants and a
Mhm.
grocery store. I mean, it's
Yep.
not big, but it's not far from Wichita either.
No.
But
And a
it's,
Casey's.
And Casey's.
oh, they got a Casey's.
It's like the perfect little community
Yeah.
just to have.
So when
and
you
like-
got something fun like that, it's
Yeah.
like, hey, bring the family out, come
Yeah.
hang out. You ain't got to stay the whole game, but if you can get that community buy-in to where they get excited about
Mhm.
those games, well, then it's a better experience for everyone.
sure.
And then, down the road, you can obviously continue to implement and add things and provide
Yeah.
more value for the community, give back to the community, that type of stuff. They just need to get you a little more hooked up and being able to take care of the field after rainy days, because
Yeah.
that's a pain in the butt.
Because it does take a little bit to, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't drain at all out
No.
there. That field is.
There's
It's
been
wet, it's wet.
rumors here and there about maybe turfing it. I don't know if that's just,
I think every school district says that for
Yeah.
at least a period.
5 years.
And then they don't.
it's a nice
Really
little
do.
field. Like, honestly, like, I mean, it would be nice if they did turf it, but it's also a pretty good pitcher's yard. Like, the ball
Oh,
doesn't
for
really
sure.
fly, but, if they turf it, they might move those fences in a little bit more to not use as much turf. And then now, because that was the thing at Eisenhower our first year when it was dirt, that place was massive. Like, you had to hit some grown man bombs at that place with the,
And they turfed it.
and they turfed it and then moved the field in, and all of a sudden,
Balls flying.
Launch pad.
yeah, especially on those windy summer days where
Oh, yeah.
pop flyers are getting out. We had some high scoring games there.
Well, those
but
fields sit the same way for the most part. Wind out of the south.
yeah,
So wind out of the south is going to be blowing
Yeah.
out majority left.
even on some of the windier days at Clearwater, like, I don't know, man, it's a just
doesn't go.
There weren't
It
too
just-
many bombs out there.
it just the ball does not
How are the
fly.
mosquitoes? Are they like Valley Center's
Awful.
mosquitoes?
They're not. I mean, I've been to a handful of games out there, but I don't think they're a pain in the butt. Like Compton's always telling guys to bring bug spray and
Pterodactyls.
But
They've
yeah.
migrated to the south side.
But in
not-
terms of like
not-
the setup, like the field, like it's a nice little college baseball.
Oh, 100%.
And the field was better this year than it was
I agree.
last year.
Yeah,
There were a couple times the first year where like, or maybe that was this year. I don't know. There was one time, I don't know if they skipped a mowing day, but
It was a jungle.
our infield was thick to where like you had to absolutely smoke a ground ball. Like we'd have guys that would hit like soft ground balls that would just get by the pitcher. I'm like,
Thicker than McAdam.
like they're beating, which of course, plays to our advantage, playing there all the time, can scoot infielders in.
Oh,
and,
yeah, for sure.
Our hitters know, oh, this ball gets by the pitcher, then
Yeah.
I bust it
Running
down
it
the
out.
line.
Yeah.
But, the defenders, may not know, but that was pretty early in the summer last year. And I kind of told them like, hey, like it was not good. We need it a little bit thinner. We need it to play more like a true grass infield.
Yeah. Just try to mow it every once in a while.
And I've reached out to some people down there about like, hey, like there's a couple Clearwater Facebook groups like, hey, like we're looking for host families. How can I get the community more involved? And like a couple people suggested like meet and greets or which we'll probably try to set something up after one of our first home games, like a cookout or stuff like that. And it might take this year doing that to be better for next year.
For sure. Yeah. It takes a little time.
But yeah, I think the longer we're there and the
if
longer
you
we're
can
there.
cement there and like just actively tell them that you're going to stay.
And that's what I reached out.
That's the biggest thing.
I reached out to the city again. I was like, hey, like, could we do like a multi-year deal? Because, not that I have a problem with doing it year to year, but
if you do that, then you can promote that a little bit.
Yeah.
The community sees, oh, okay, like if we do something, we know they're going to be around for 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
whatever.
And they came back they talked to the council and they're like, we could do that. Send us what you want. Like, we don't want to do more than a 3-year, which is, I think
that's good.
3 years is good enough. You do 3 years and 3 years go really well. You renew for another 3 years.
3 years is solid.
Because like I told them, I was like, not that I would be looking to go anywhere else, but like there is no other place to go.
Yeah.
Like
It'd be tougher.
it would be really hard if something happened and you guys said no. Like, I don't know where we would go. So like I'm committed to
making it happen.
It's a nice field.
Yep.
It's in its own community.
Yeah.
No,
it's I loved the first team that we had out there. I thought when we put it there, I was like, okay, this is going to work really well. Things didn't work out in certain areas, personnel issues is what I would call it. But like the community was never the problem.
No.
And they came out. I mean, now granted, he was local in the community when they
For
first
sure.
started. So he had a little bit of an advantage there. But I mean, they had crowds. Like, there were a couple hundred people out there at each game easily.
yeah.
And,
Like I said, we had some good crowds last summer for sure.
so you get the atmosphere built up, and it's in kind of a complex too, so the kids can go play on the other fields. I lost Banks and Scout that day. I think I was just like, dude, just get out of here.
And that helps some nights where they were running like youth practices on those fields, and then
they see it.
and then they're walking out, and then
Getting
they
with their
stop for a little
rack,
bit.
yeah.
Oh yeah, so that was definitely because there was one night I went out there and like the parking lot's full. I'm like, there's
The one night I went out there was a youth practice going on, and the boys were warming up, and there's a little kid practicing with his team, and you just see him twerking out there, just bumping to the music and being ridiculous. But the atmosphere that out there is pretty solid, because then you have kids that go play games while the parents watch and stuff like that, and that's it's really nice.
I love it.
Yep.
Any questions, Sean? Anything? Any experiences out in Clearwater that you would like to share?
You get ejected out in Clearwater or something? Oh,
Chris did.
Chris got ejected out there?
I've never been ejected.
Yet.
It's my last high school game of my career I did, but
No KCLB ejections.
Clearwater's good.
I've had my fair share of
Yeah.
KCLB ejection.
I like Clearwater games because then on those days, then I can just leave from Parisi and go straight down.
Closer to you.
Yeah, go straight down to Clearwater. Pretty easy drive. Little Casey's in town. It's good.
Gotta love Casey's.
Yeah.
Shout out to Casey's.
Dugouts are kind of small, so then some guys get to kind of hang out down the line a little bit and get rowdy, which the Daubers do. But
What was your guys' record against the curve this last year?
we were 4-1 against the curve.
Ooh. Yeah, they kind of owned us last year.
Yeah, this is the first year we have. So I mean, other than that, it's been pretty much the other way around. But
See, and there's
That-
like
Then we lost Park City in the tournament. So
there's years where like, you know, oh, they were 4-1 against us, and you know, there's years that the Heat's had our number, but then there's years that like, oh, we beat the Rangers more, and like it's just weird year to year. You just it seems like every year there's one team that just
for whatever reason
reason you can't beat. And like last year it was Valley Center for us.
Yeah.
And
Sounds like it's good baseball.
Well, it's that, but it's also the schedule. So everybody always gets all confused on why I do the schedule the way that I do it. And the reason I do it that way is for this exact reason, because I don't want you guys to be able to plan it. Like, however, you remember when you guys would throw Simon every time you played the Rangers.
Yeah.
That's like an anomaly because he has a rubber arm. He can just throw any day of the week. Like, it doesn't matter. But
2 seasons, he probably threw against him 9 times.
yeah, like but I'm trying to avoid situations like that because you get into the groove of college ball where it's like, you know, you play on, you know, it's 4 games in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so you almost know every time that you're going to play them exactly how it's going to play out. You get the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, right? In our league, it's like, you know, you got 5, 6 games against these guys. You may play them one time at the beginning of June, and then you don't see them for 4 other times until the end of July. Like, and it's so random. I don't even know how I put it together. Like, I just bing, 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 you know, because I don't want people to be able to plan it. And then I don't, for that reason, number 1. But then number 2, it's summer ball, so emotions are high. It's hot. And I don't want game 1 against Valley Center in the curve. Valley Center wins by 30, and then they're talking shit, and then they show up the next day, and then it turns into a problem.
Right.
So that's the other thing that I'm trying to avoid as well, too, is like, you know, if we separate those 2 games by 2 weeks, well, these dudes, they have memories of goldfish. They forget most of that stuff, right? So then when they show back up, they remember it, but it's not near as important to them anymore, you know? So that helps us kind of have our situations, you know, go down as well too, which is good.
We kind of go the opposite way, like on the pitching side, like playing all these teams. Like we try to throw as many different, unless we just have a dude that's just straight up, you know,
you're gonna
dominant,
get it.
like a walking W or a really good shot of it. Like we try to mix it up to where we're given, you know, like I said, we play them 4 or 5 times, 6 times, you know, give them a different look each time. You know, maybe later in the season or like playoffs, you know, you have to double up on a guy they've seen, but you know, we try to space it out to where, you know, they're you know, they're seeing different guys and different looks each time.
It ultimately just builds in more strategy. Yeah. And your coaches have to pay a little bit more attention to their staff and how they're gonna, which, you know, big picture stuff, but like we're trying to help everybody get better. And I think that that's part of that, of looking at it and saying, you know, we can't just do the same thing that we do every week. You know, we got to flip this, move this, you know, and mix it up. Or you can try to do it the other way. It just won't be super successful. But yeah.
Well, that was a great conversation.
Yeah, it was good.
I hope everyone listens to it. You know, I mean, learning more about your organization, where it comes from, and then the fun things that you've built with your staff and the culture that you have. You know, super impressed by that, and
thank you.
Good work, and keep it going. So, but right now is the time that we did you just thumbs up?
I did thumbs up the camera.
But now's the time that we give it to you to, you know, do some shout outs or, you know, do a little promo action, anything that you want to say before we turn it over to Sean for our prayer.
Okay. I don't know. I said a lot on, you know, the questions you guys asked. Like I said earlier, you know, in terms of the high school side, like in this area, I don't think there's a better place to be. If you want to play college baseball, if you're serious about playing college baseball, you know, Kansas Curve High School program's the way to be. You know, in terms of the college side, you know, I said we got the right dude for the job, and you know, I think that trend of, you know, the winning, I think will continue with him at the helm, and you know, we'll keep feeding him good guys, and you know, on this upcoming team that we'll have, you know, we half the rosters either returners or high school guys that, you know, have been in the program. They want to come back and play for the college team, but you know, I think I've heard you say this on a previous podcast about like, you know, you don't care about what other people are doing and all that. And, you know, I'm honestly used to be that way. Like I wanted to know what everyone was up to. And, you know, now it's just like, you know, I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to do what I do because I know what we do is good. And, you know, I have good people in my corner. So, you know, I don't really care what other organizations do. they fold, people trying to start new things. Like, I'm going to do me no matter what. And, we're going to keep getting good players. We're going to keep sending kids to college. We're going to keep winning games. We're going to keep giving kids, these great experiences that, they're after. And it's just, the curve's not going away anytime soon. So,
Well, don't be like me. I'm an asshole business runner.
oh, I'm sure
I
am.
Hates me.
I'm sure the curve, the purple and orange have been thrown around negatively in a lot of rooms and conversations in this area. But I mean, if you got haters, you're doing something right.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Trying to be as humble as possible, but
I'm just kidding. I don't. I just wanted you to make
roll curve.
I just gave you all my info.
Well, I wanted you to feel like you're doing something right.
We had a phrase a couple years ago that I think it was the 22 team. They said the first win streak we got on, they were like, "Oh, curve's hot," and then we lost a couple games, and they're like, "We're never saying that again." So anytime I let it slip or I post it, I'll always get a couple guys from that team stop saying that.
Don't do it.
Don't say curve's hot.
Don't do it.
So now it's just
sounds like not watching big games here at the office.
Now it's just roll curve.
Oh, that curse is broken.
For now.
We're back. I'll be here on Saturday. I need to bring it back together.
Well, Sean, do you mind leading us in our closing prayer?
No. I said that correctly, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't mind.
Okay.
Don't.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Sean.
Lord, thank you for another day, and thank you for a good conversation. Thank you for just the efforts of everyone in this room to help so many athletes to achieve their dreams. Thank you for the efforts of all the behind-the-scenes work that is done to provide a competitive experience, to provide just a baseball experience, which is so important, not only on these kids' baseball journeys, but also just in life, to learn a lot and learn about failure and learn about success and what it all means. So thank you for Baca and his organization. I just pray that he continues to thrive, continues to get kids going to the next level and getting a ton of opportunities. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Well, that wraps up episode 44 for Kansas Sports HQ, Kansas Curve, featuring the owner, Jacob Baca. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.